Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio Raw post-show rewind for September the 30th, 2024. I am Tyler, the pro wrestling hipster, here with little Molly Holly, joined by...
As always, guys, I'm the one, the only. I'm Caesar, hanging out with these two gentlemen discussing that thing we all love called Monday Night Raw. Of course, we've got Molly. Don't forget to include that little one. At the bottom of the screen, we have the other gentleman from the East Coast. And that being said, he is...
Wait, are you talking about me now? Because I'm not from the East Coast.
You're closer than I am to the East Coast.
Okay, I am eastward into the country more so than you are.
Just introduce yourself.
By that logic, Caesar, by that logic,
I
you
want
feel
to
like Tyler from
railroad
South America. Like,
you
no,
want a proper introduction?
I want to railroad this discussion on a wrestling show to talk about Canadian geography. No,
Perfect. I'm down. Look at the map. 1 sec.
Well, CJ Carter, I am kind of here and there whenever I can be, and I managed to make it here tonight. And
Thank
it
God.
was a hell of a match tonight.
Yes. We are here to break down the very last 3-hour Raw
I'm
of
partying after
the
this stream is over.
USA era. So we are, that's she's always here with me. So we will be breaking down and discussing everything that happened tonight, guys. But before we can get in to tonight's proceedings, all the stuff that happened on the last 3-hour Raw of the USA era, we have to give that ever important shout out to our partners on the web, comicbookclick.com. That is comicbookclick.com/Dirt Sheet Radio for all your comic book, pop culture, entertainment, professional wrestling needs, everything all in one awesome place. Check it out. Make it your homepage. Look at it multiple times a day, just like we do. Not because we're legally obligated to do so or because we're paid, but because we love to do it, folks. And that's what it's all about. And hey, while you're there, be sure to take advantage of our sponsor, NordVPN, where if you sign up for 1 full year of NordVPN service, you will get 72% off that first month. That is wild savings, absolutely astronomical. Go check it out. Not right now. Wait till after the show, then do it.
Unless
you're very good at multitasking. Which
there we go.
Yeah, we're folks that struggle with the concept of walk and chew.
Or the people who are like this still.
I'm looking at my screen. All right, so guys, we're here to talk about Raw. We're talking about all the stuff that happened. Tonight's main event.
Whoa.
Always. Both. Tonight's main event was the last Monster standing. We had Big Bronson Reed taking on Braun Strowman 1-on-1. This was pretty much everything you'd expect it to be. It went just about 20 minutes. Had a pretty surprising return there at the end in one Seth Rollins, kind of squaring up the victory there for the ever-slowing Strowman.
Did you hear what, I think it was Joe Tessitore called him? Did you hear what he called him or no?
I did not catch that, no.
Instead of saying Seth freaking Rollins, he calls Seth friggin' Rollins.
Friggin' Rollins.
The name change is coming, guys.
Seth
but
friggin'.
I will cut you off with this one, actually, because technically this wasn't all we expected. A couple of spots that happened were pretty out there that even I was shocked to see. Like, for one, the rail breaking and almost killing the first 5 rows of people and now, 2 families.
Was that planned, or were those actors? What do
I
you
don't
guys
know,
feel
because
like?
that person didn't move for a long time.
It had to be planned. Like, I understand that definitely got bowled over, and I'm sure that there was potential for legitimate harm. That had to be a planned spot. One, because there's no way WWE would allow for that kind of liability. That spot was planned. That's why they broke that first barrier first. The second thing is they send literally everybody that was wearing a security shirt, every single official, like when Kenny and I can't remember who the other guy was, it might have been Jamie, came down to check on the fans. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. They would definitely want to send people down. And then you see the camera cuts to Bronson Reed on the top rope, and you just see every single security guard run past. And I'm like, okay, in an actual emergency, medical professionals need to be able to clear a path to the people that are in need of first aid. There is no way that they would allow that many people to be holding up production if it wasn't for a reason. And that's exactly what happened. We see in the match, Braun Strowman diving off the top rope onto Bronson Reed and literally a sea of security guys.
Right.
So I don't think anybody was legitimately injured,
I was
at least
expecting
fan-wise
a
tonight.
breast. I don't know about you
shooting
guys.
star press. I was not expecting a shooting star.
Maybe a 450. I don't know.
Now, a lot of folks on the online, I think, also here in the DSR family, rightfully called the ring collapsing. As
I saw at least 4 people.
Arena, you could see that the turnbuckles on the ring tonight were thinner and much smaller than the ones they've been using recently with the LEDs and all of that sort of a thing in there. So you kind of knew the ring collapse was coming, but it was still fun to see.
My favorite, I can't remember which match it was from in the back in the day. It might have been Brock and Big Show, where like they hit the superplex off the top rope, and the ref went flying, literally.
Yeah, because the ring fell, and he was like leaning on the ropes when the ropes collapsed, and of course he had his weight on there, so he just took a tumble.
I think he caught like 5 feet of air too.
Was it Taz and Bam Bam Bigelow at that ECW show? Right, went through the ring. That was good time.
The good old days.
Good times. Good times. But a pretty solid main event match. Like it was a lot of fun. Crowd was into it. I'm trying to think of who said this in the group chat. CJ, was it you that said that Strowman looked incredibly gassed about 5 minutes in?
Yeah, it was CJ.
I believe I also said him rebounding off the ropes to hit that forearm had big Tyrus energy. If you remember his final match against EC3, that man, like he hits this forearm, and good thing that Reed had fallen into chairs. Otherwise, I'd be like, okay, so he could just stand back up. He got knocked over by a light breeze. That was essentially the forearm that he took.
Like, I mean, at this point, you kind of know what you're getting out of a Strowman match.
Well, and I mean, it was still a fantastic match. Like, it was a demolition derby of a match, and it was exactly what we needed it to be. So, kudos to both.
Acknowledge that this may be the only type of match that Strowman can have that's passable at this point. Is that fair to say?
Comment.
Like,
I'm gonna go with yes for now.
Maybe he just needs some time to, nurse some more injuries.
Robot legs.
Honestly, if they want to do it, if Trips wants to do it properly, I almost feel like he should just make Braun a complete destroyer of worlds.
I mean, just make him go into full special attraction mode.
Yeah, pretty much.
What was that 2K game that had the storyline of Samoa Joe getting a robot arm?
I almost said Twisted Metal, but that's not it. That's the show.
Which he is in.
Yeah.
But, oh my god! Some of those, there were some of the storylines in some of those WWE games that really went off the rails. There was a SmackDown versus Raw where you got turned into one of the divas, but you kept the voice.
How would that work?
I don't know, but it involved Candice Michelle's magic wand, so I know that.
Don't remind us.
And then there was the Road to WrestleMania path challenging the Undertaker's undefeated streak, and if you lose the match at WrestleMania, you get turned into a druid.
This reminds me of, did you guys ever watch the episode of South Park when they had what's his name, Tiger Williams golf simulator or whatever?
Tiger Woods. His name is
Tiger Woods. Sorry, Tiger Woods. I'm tired.
And yes, I did. Yes,
you remember that episode? And he's like, I'm waiting for that version of WWE come out for the career mode. Gets busted on the highway traveling between venues.
Hey, Mac, I never
Mac,
said.
I did not laugh at you when you
I
said
never
Push
laughed
Bronson
at
Reed.
Mac's gonna be that guy who says it every episode now. On Raw, it's Bronson. On Wednesday, it's Matt Taven.
Hey, I'm not gonna sit here and listen to Matt Taven slander. He's a very nice man. Okay.
Oh, it's just funny as hell because he'll say that on Wednesday for a fact. I know that already.
I
Look,
saw Matt Taven
I can
help an
tell
old
you,
lady across the street once.
one of the times I ran into Matt Taven, I was with a buddy of mine that used to go to wrestling shows with, and he had this really nasty bite on his arm. And Matt Taven looked so concerned about that bite, especially after he found out it came from a stripper. Like, Matt Taven just seemed so concerned and genuinely cared for.
How much do you get charged for that?
You
Yeah,
mean like
on my
you
wrist?
mean like with law by law when you go to jail for it? I don't know. But
Do they charge for that? In
well,
those kind of
I
services?
don't know. But every time a full moon comes out, he starts taking his clothes off.
Hey, hell of a match on Raw tonight. This last Monster Standing.
Oh,
DS
God,
do this.
good times. Well, gentlemen, anything else on tonight's main event? The return of Seth friggin' Rollins.
My condolences to the 15 families that were destroyed by Braun falling.
Oh, God.
And the 35 security guards that were murdered from the top rope super splash.
Wrestling is a dangerous place, guys.
I will. If I was wearing a hat, I would tip it off to those two guys because that shit was nuts. Especially for two dudes that weigh as much as like a house, and didn't break the Titantron, and didn't only kill 2 families. Good job. And that top rope spot, what the hell? I did not have that in my bingo card. Braun Strowman top rope jump. No one had that in the bingo card.
No, it was bananas.
Now,
just
to get it out of the way, because they had a few segments highlighting this match, and all of them were cinematic. They were all, like the ones where they had their faces turning into fucking Godzilla faces. Like, high production value to promote this match. And I'm digging it. Like, this should be the standard for promoting these kind of marquee matchups.
Like the main event, you mean? Or
well, yeah, like any given week, it should be like this kind of cinematic value to promote these matches. I'm not saying it's gonna be, Godzilla morphing every single week.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, right. Like,
Liv
imagine
Morgan shows up, her face turns inside out.
Imagine they start promoting like the match tonight, Zoe Stark versus Lyra Valkyria. Their faces turning into Godzilla's.
Well, I mean, Lyra would be a bird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like, did Godzilla ever fight some sort of? I'm not a big Godzilla guy. So I know there's Mothra, but like,
yeah,
did you ever fight like some like bird type thing? Was Rodan a type of bird?
There is one, and I'm blanking on the name.
Wow. I don't know either.
Not Roseanne, mind you, but Rodan.
Wait, big Roseanne, difference. Like the TV person?
Yeah, that's what I was joking.
Godzilla versus Roseanne?
Yes.
I was paid to see that.
I feel bad for Godzilla.
Oh my God.
Roseanne versus the bear?
Yeah, just take her out with some Ambien, it'll be fine.
Hey, now
go back to the top.
Say that to a Canadian.
Yeah, listen, buddy. That's upsetting, buddy.
That's some sort of ism. I don't know. It's
Canadianism.
Why? What did I say?
Not you, me.
No, the comment that Sid shouted there at Caesar asking if he lives in an igloo.
Listen.
Yeah, that's
behind this green screen is I'm actually in an igloo. So
it's very, very cold where Caesar is.
Actually, not yet, believe it or not.
Oh, goodness gracious.
It's like warm.
But gentlemen, shall we hop around to the beginning of tonight's program?
Yep. Let's go.
Right. All right. So Monday Night Raw. Again, the last 3-hour Raw of the USA era. Yeah, very excited about that.
I can stomach this
shit. And for the rest of the year.
Yeah. For the rest of the year until January, when we see what they actually do with the
January.
But came to us live tonight from Evansville, Indiana at the Ford Center. At the last count that I'd read this afternoon, they'd sold right around 6,275 tickets, with the arena being set for 7,208. Continuing a pretty good sales. But it sounds like the capacity of the arena, worth mentioning, about 11,000. So, going to lose some to that stage and whatnot, I guess. But the show opened with Wade Barrett and Joe kind of narrating wrestlers walking into the building as they've done the last few weeks. And then it opened with them standing in the ring to open and introduce the show, which we opened in the concourse area. We had main event Jey Uso out there. Oh, wrong picture. Main event Jey Uso out there in the concourse, getting ready to make his way in, which just seems to be the normal thing for him. He was out there with his kid, and makes his way to the ring to cut a triumphant babyface promo. Guys, what did you think of Jey Uso's first promo as the Intercontinental Champion with the newly designed Intercontinental Championship belt out there? Has a nice splash of color on it. Got the globes all colored in there. Looks lovely. But guys, what you think about this?
You know for a fact that cost an arm and a leg to put that little hint of blue on the belt.
Well, they're going to recoup it from selling all those replica belts, so that's fine.
All that Yeet merch.
Exactly. And I really hope that they didn't put the title on Jay specifically to add color to the belt.
I completely agree with CJ on that one.
Like, it makes sense because his color's blue, but this should have had the blue all along.
It looks
could have just added it at any time.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it looks a lot better with the blue on there.
Like, do you think, as far as his promo goes, was it just me, or do you think he kind of fumbled his lines a little bit and forgot what he was supposed to say?
He could have been choking because he was upset or emotional.
It did feel like he kind of fell off his train of thought there for a second, and then kind of like just reset into doing some yeets, and then got his feet back under him and continued on the promo. It almost reminded me of like when Ric Flair would just start wildly wooing when he would kind of forget his lines. It was kind of along the same thing there.
Rick had no script.
Why? I thought he just, digging his heels in on the woo thing.
Woo, woo. No, yeet. But yeah, you're right there. But Caesar may be right. Maybe he was, it was an emotional moment for him.
He seemed like he was
talking about his mom.
Getting choked up pretty hard. I mean, he won his first belt as a singles competitor. I mean, can you blame him? So kudos to him.
We talked about that a little bit last week.
It was talking about his mom.
Yeah,
his kid was in the stands too, which is pretty big for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's understandable.
And obviously, it's the crowd's fully behind him. He's without question one of the most popular over wrestlers in the company.
He's so popular with or without a belt. So
I think, with or without, he's popular. But it makes sense. Pull the trigger while it's hot. I hope that they have bigger plans for Breaker moving forward, and it looks like he's going to be positioned towards Gunther. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But
I was just gonna say they did kind of tease something later on. So
when I thought that, or when Jey Uso won the Intercontinental title, I thought at the time that it was going to be a vehicle to bring Braun Breaker back. Harder than, fiercer than ever before. And obviously now they're teasing him going in another direction, but it felt like Jay's title run was going to be, just a quick one. Do we feel like now he's got a little bit firmer hold on the title?
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Especially with getting some, a new splash of color in there too.
Splish.
So this is the mildest and lightest of roasts, but I brought this up on the Book of Face, and I want to bring it up here. Jay, and I'm not one to call things out like this, but I know that spooky season's right around the corner, and tonight it really looked like he was rocking the Courtney Cox in Scream 3. Like, I don't know what happened. But yeah,
Why would you bring this to my attention? I was perfectly content.
I don't see it.
I was perfectly content with not having that comparison.
I can't see it now.
That's gonna pop up in my head next week.
Thanks a lot. You ruined Courtney Yeet for me.
Yeet, you know.
That's what should be sincere. I don't know.
I don't think Braun was getting a rematch. Because, I mean, he's already defending against Xavier Woods next week.
Oh, goodness. And that was... We'll talk
Maybe it's a good thing we don't have it. We can't predict it. Maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, they might hang off on that. I mean, I feel like they're not doing as many automatic rematches.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. That was always kind of a book yourself into a corner sort of situation that they always felt the need to do that as it was like a unspoken rule or whatever.
The way, yeah, it looks like if they went straight for the Braun rematch, it just seems like what if I don't want to say this and make it happen, but it's like what if Braun won and then it's like, oh, now does Jay get a rematch? And then when Jay wins, does he get a rematch against Braun? It's like, oh my goodness, no thank you. So
well, yeah, like that's basically what was happening in the 2010s, 2011s. Like I remember John Cena and Randy Orton basically hot potatoed the WWE Championship to each other from one pay-per-view to the next over the course of like 4 months.
Yeah.
Skip.
But so from there, we were outside the arena where we had the Judgment Day arriving, where they're talking about Finn having some travel issues.
Didn't you forget the Braun part of the promo?
Oh my god, I did, guys.
Wow.
Oh, I did.
You know what would have helped?
You know what it was? It was talking about the rematch that isn't happening.
Yeah.
You know what would have helped? If you had Comic Book Click open on another tab. I had
to.
Man,
I even had it in my notes, like seeing some humility out of Braun. Like I wasn't sure if this turn was genuine, but it does seem to be, and you know we're allowed to cheer for Braun Breaker again.
I won't lie, it was cool that Jay was saying there's a lot of dogs in the building, and then the crowd went completely nuts. That was cool to see. So
it's over, and you know, and people they've been barking, they've been cheering. It's been going on for weeks and weeks now. And TJ, you're right. This is it. Like they pretty much it's full permission to the audience now. Cheer him.
Just give it to us. Let us go nuts. Let Braun have his moment. Hell, give him something flashy in his entrance, like a little pyro for all we know. Something.
Maybe better music.
Do we start that topic?
Hey, how much longer do they have Def Rebel on contract for? Like, is there
Thank you. I can
is
make
there
an
official countdown?
The final
we
countdown.
An official countdown for that, but it's got to be coming up because it's soon. It's soon.
It's what it reminds me of a lot of the Def Rebel music, except for like a handful of the themes. Is like they got some intern at like Atlanta Records or like EMI or somewhere and said, okay, we need 35 intros for wrestlers. And Homeboy went on the website and picked up 35 tracks, rearranged the parts, and said, cool, I'm a producer. And they'll throw away something like on TV time at the beginning of every one or like, you know, some stupid shit. So please give us some new themes. Braun Breaker, come on. Let's give him some bitchin' theme.
Well, you know, and on Breaker, on him getting cheered and the way it's done, people don't want to boo someone who kicks the shit out of people.
That spear ruins families. I was exaggerating.
By that, you mean like it makes men infertile?
Sure.
Depends on where he spears them, I guess.
Well, if he spears somebody in the lower area like that, I'm kind of concerned.
Braun Breaker ending bloodlines. Not the bloodline, mind you.
Oh, no, please, the bloodline?
Not the bloodline.
Okay, I'll buy him a Big Mac if he ends the bloodline.
That's a really specific thing to offer him.
Double if he does it fast.
All right.
Caesar, you are a weird guy, but
yeah, no, that's what my therapist tells me.
Your therapist tells you you're weird.
I don't think they should say things like that.
And here's Molly with Molly.
Molly just tried to do a little back.
Molly with Molly.
We need like a cutaway where it's just Molly doing Molly things for like 10 seconds.
I don't know. CJ and I will look into that for
Wouldn't that be adorable? Just like a 10-second clip of Molly doing Molly things.
It would be.
So Judgment Day arrived.
Thank you. Judgment Day outside the arena. Again, stating that Finn Balor was having some sort of travel issues.
I have one gripe with that segment. One legitimate gripe. Why do people hold their phones like this and talk into them? Be honest. Like, I've always seen people in my area do that. I'm like, why don't you guys just put your phone by your ear?
I thought it was a generational thing.
Phone.
No, but like I've seen people who have their mouth like they're like this on their phone, and I'm like, bro, if you're on speaker,
they probably just have a shitty microphone.
Could be. Maybe they got it wet.
Still, anyways,
yeah, right.
Judgment Day hanging outside like a bunch of weirdos, and Finn Balor having travel issues.
Yeah, and that was pretty much the long.
I got a gripe with that, but I'll save it for when the actual time comes. Like an actual gripe. But anyways, what happened next?
Well, from there, we went into the first match we had on our card this evening. Mm-hmm. We had Xavier Woods of the New Day taking on Rey Mysterio.
Okay, so the whole thing with Xavier, him and Kofi talking to Jesse Ventura or whatever they're doing with him.
Just in case anyone did not watch Raw, he's talking about Karrion Kross, not actually.
I can't mention Karrion Kross because I'm blocked by him. If you know, you know. But
okay, but like Jesse Ventura actually was at Raw a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
right. That's why.
That's why we're clarifying the joke. But anyways, so when Woods came out, he was doing like his back, like his spins and shit, and then he started walking all serious. And then when he walked by some kids, he started bumping fists and crap. I'm like, which way is he going? Is he going heel or face? Because he's like walking the line.
Well, that's it. He's walking the line.
Exactly. Like that's the thing where it's this long-term storytelling.
That's fine by me. I'm making sure I'm on the right page about it. That's all I'm asking.
You are, yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely in that in between shades of gray. Well, shades of neon gray. It's New Day. So
is that a color?
Oh, it is now.
Okay, Naomi's gonna come after you for that one.
Neon gray.
Anyways, the match happened.
The match happened. Shockingly, Xavier Woods picks up the win in just about 7 minutes, but he pulls off Rey Mysterio's mask on accident.
Yeah.
And I love how at this point in his flipping career, Rey clutches his face like we all haven't seen him without the mask.
There's probably some kids who haven't.
I'm sure there are children that haven't seen it. But
he's got a face under there?
He's got a face.
But I mean, like his kids post selfies on social, like his daughter posts social media selfies with his mask off. So, you know,
who knows? Let them have their moment of understanding that he has a face and it's covered up. All the luchadors do it. I've noticed. Whether company you're in, they cover their face.
Yeah. Joe Testador seemed so pissed off about the how can he pull the mask off the face?
I'm waiting for that one.
I love Joe. He's so good at.
I hope they're not telling Joe too much of how to be. Like they're just telling him, you know, here's what's gonna happen, this and that. But they're not like forcing him to, you know, they're not like force feeding him things in his ear. They're just telling him, you know, this is how this is gonna go, kind of thing. So I do agree with you.
I think the problem with Joe at the moment is he's still learning some of the vernacular. Like he called the sling blade the slingshot earlier. And it like some of the, Seth friggin' Rollins, like some of those, it feels like just need to be ironed out. But this is something that they've done with a few guys that have kind of come in, lasted a few weeks, and then they leave, is they don't have time to acclimate. You know, they get thrown into the deep end.
Okay.
And then they just aren't able to perform at the level of people that have worked their way. They know the WWE grind, and they're able to adjust themselves to working in that position. And I think that's why Renee Young did so well on commentary, despite working with Corey Graves. I think that, yeah, like.
So I've got a question. I mean, I have my opinions, but I want to hear your guys's, and of course, our awesome chat. Our viewers can respond to, because this is a group discussion on this podcast. When it comes to Joe Tessitore doing his it's like a few weeks now, not a month. Has it been a month
It's
yet?
about that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a month, yeah.
When it comes to like Joe Tessitore and his limited run so far, compared to some of the people in the past that have been on, like, we'll call them short stints or 90-day trials, how would you guys compare, you think? I know one name you guys are going to throw out there and you guys are going to say no, probably better than him, and that's that he got let go recently before all the trip stuff happened. Kyle oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank here.
Edwards.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I know people, I saw people on social media saying that he was terrible, and then I'm seeing Joe Tessitore, and I will say he's getting there, but I do agree with Tyler. His voice, like how he presents, if you didn't know what he's getting at times, you have to like sit in and listen. So I'm still giving it time. I'm definitely not saying he's bad. He's growing on me, I'd say.
Well, and that was
coming along
even going back to my notes about Joe's first night. Like I said, I don't know how much he knows about WWE. Like, he had mispronounced a couple names and used some incorrect terms. So I figure this is a learning curve, and they threw him a very steep learning curve, and they threw him into the deep end.
Especially on the flagship show, in front of 5 million viewers a night.
And heading to Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that. So I'm definitely not gonna throw him into the deep end and say he's bad or good. I'm letting him, dare I say, flourish for a bit. Let him spread his wings until I can give an opinion.
All right.
I'm not saying he's bad at all.
I mean, here, let's see. Better or worse than Tom Phillips?
Tom Phillips?
No, I would say Tom Hannafin is tremendous.
Yeah, he's selling me on TNA whenever I watch him.
Yeah,
especially with oh my god, what's his name? You know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna hate myself. I remember his name if I hear it. His cohort.
Definitely better than Mike Adams.
Well, that's yeah. we really. I try not to, as it turns out that he may have been showing early signs of dementia at that point in time, but
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, I think he's got. I'm pretty sure he has he's got something like dementia or something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
CJ's
shit,
like, oh shit.
but I'm not sure if it was actually affecting him at that time or not. Like, that's kind of up in the air, with the Jeff Harveys and
plot twist.
Well, it was no Buffer saying Brett Clark. That was a good one when they was getting paid $10,000 a pop to appear at Nitro. But we'll hop back into the events of tonight's Raw here. Backstage, we had Lyra Valkyria getting talked at by Sonya Deville and
what did? No, never mind. Wrong spot.
And Shayna Baszler. Basically they're just giving her some crap for having no friends. That's basically what it came down to. And as the events for this match unfolded, we see that she still had friends, and I kind of wish she didn't. But that's going to take us
match.
Yeah. So that takes us into actually, before the match happened, this is something they started doing too, where it's like they'll set up the match, they'll have one of the entrances occur, and then another backstage segment. Kofi was talking to Xavier Woods, and they're talking about his win over Ray. Kofi was a little apprehensive to ask the question about if he did it on purpose or not, the pulling off of the mask. But Kofi was excited to tell his buddy that while he was granted an Intercontinental title match next week, he's giving it to his buddy Xavier Woods instead. Guys, what a kind, magnanimous thing for Kofi to do, right?
I guess.
And I mean, okay, it kind of gives Xavier Woods a little bit of a reason to exist. Well, not exist. Sorry, I had a thought and then I just couldn't find it again. Tried to stumble my way through it. I'm talking a little bit more in Kofi's match about why I love this turn so much, but even just in this spot here, like it's super interesting to see, like the peaks and the lows. Like even when Kofi says that Jay offered him this title shot, you see the dejection and you hear him start to say like, oh hey, you know, good for you kind of thing. And I really love seeing that immediate 180 of like, oh, you're giving it to me, yeah, we're best friends again. Like I love seeing the dynamic in the New Day right now. It's very interesting storytelling.
And they needed this. The New Day had to have something different with them. And they've even kind of, in a meta way talked about that on air, where it's been kind of the same shtick for a very long time. And things change. They have to change gears in order to start getting those wins. But it is a very interesting story, and this has been going on for a while now too.
And the only other note that I had with this was I'd rather see New Day like come to a common ground and turn heel than the New Day split, especially at the hands of Karrion Kross.
You saw that earlier.
Looming in the background during this whole promo was Karrion Kross.
Go on.
Sorry.
I'll let you finish.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, the biggest twist ever is if like they're hyping up Xavier to be the turner and Kofi turns. I know it's probably not in the cards, but could you imagine that?
It'll be interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we want curveballs, so it's like,
I mean, has Kofi ever really worked heel?
Not solo.
The New Day heel run, but that
right. But
that's what I'm saying.
But beyond that, like, he's never really been able to be kind of like a more like vile or dark kind of character.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know, or just New Day as heels. Just let them both go together. I'd rather see John with you. I'd rather them stay together. And that's partially because like I don't like tag teams to split up.
And especially like when they just split up another tag team, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, I like for tag teams to remain friends, and it's not exactly for the same reasons as my 8-year-old. She likes tag wrestling because she likes when wrestlers have friends. But so keep those tag teams together, make the kids happy, guys. But
right.
Our next match on the card, we had Lyra Valkyria with no one taking on
no friends,
Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville. Zoe gets the win here in just about 7 minutes, and the numbers game was
Zoltan.
Too much for Lyra, all for Zoltan.
Okay,
too much for her, and then she is saved by the albatross that is Kaden Carter and Katana Chance.
You sound so thrilled.
I don't like them.
I know you don't.
I don't know. I don't know what they need to. They were great on NXT.
Send them back.
I don't.
Simple answer: just send them back for a little while.
To do what?
Well,
to do what? There's no tag.
Let Sean figure it out.
There's nothing for him to fight for.
Let Sean figure it out.
It's not a problem with Carter and Chance. It's that they haven't been able to connect and get the same presence on Raw that they had in NXT. So even if you send them back down to NXT, it's not going to do anything for them because they're not growing. But on Raw, they're not seeing that same ability to get over just as themselves.
Maybe give them a new theme. Start handing out a new theme. I don't know what do either. I'm trying to figure it out too. Because if you're saying that NXT won't do anything for them, then what else do you do?
I don't know, but
Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can't.
Oh, no, it's there.
I was like, it is super quiet in here.
No, he's got it going.
It's there. It's chill. It's chill, but it's there.
Well, that's fine, especially with us babbling. My question to you guys is, why the hell was Sonya looking like she was getting ready to fight? Like the match started and she like threw her jacket down and crap like that. I was like, Sonya, not in the match.
She's got a lot of anger. She's got a lot of anger.
Just to be intimidating.
She's intimidating. She's not intimidating.
She's plenty intimidating. I'm terrified.
I'm crapping my pants right now sitting here. Better stop talking about her.
Kick your ass.
Oh, my hair is up, so it'll square up.
Sure.
Now, the other thing I will agree with, though, I do agree with both of you guys on this one, is, so let's keep those ladies separate, except for the occasional situation. And even then, that's a stretch.
And, the backstage segment that was the follow-up on the match, they're not keeping them separate. As Jackie Remo was interviewing Carter and Chance back there with Lyra, and they're all friends again. And,
I'm happy that they're friends, but not.
Yeah, I'm cool with happy loving friends.
Yeah,
I don't want. Lyra Valkyria does not need to be associated with them.
Lyra, from what I've seen on the Dirt Sheet Radio NXT review every Tuesday after NXT and on comicbookclick.com, what I've seen is that Lyra, I don't want to use the term is above, but she can hold a candle to a lot of the other women without having to have a backup, we'll call it. So it's like, again, to kind of like go off what you boys have always shown, is like, is there a way to do it without like going the heel way to get her away from them? Or is there like a way to do it where it's just like, okay, you guys go that way, she goes that way?
They'd already had it. They'd already done it. They could have just stopped. They didn't have to do this tonight,
right?
Like it was already done. I felt like, and they just slid back into it. And I just don't know if it's an issue if they just don't know what else to do with them. If I don't know, I just feel like Lyra would be better off without being. It's like
it's like, what would happen if tomorrow she became a women's world champion contender? Would those two be attached to her hip during that? We don't want that, though. We want her to strive on her own. You know what? I'm gonna give Mac like 100% of my support on that statement.
Yep, I will give a hearty Lyra Valkyria woo to that. So
I hate how much momentum she's lost. I mean, she got to the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament, and now she's getting pushed into these 6-woman tag situations and tag team matches and getting jobbed out to whoever is standing opposite from her. What are they doing with her?
I don't know. It's disappointing, and again, it's not just because I'm such a big NXT guy, but it's disappointing because of how much potential she has.
100%.
Maybe with Raw switching to 2 hours, they'll start getting rid of the filler crap and stick to actual stuff that needs to be on the show.
Yeah, but what if they're regarding segments with her and Carter and Chance as the filler?
That's what I'm hoping they're not. That's what I'm hoping.
Well, hope all you want.
Yeah.
That won't change their minds if they...
Yeah, Hunter is watching DSR right now. You can tell.
He might be. You never know.
Yeah, that is true.
The man loves Twitter, so you never know where he's at.
I should just tweet him.
There you go.
Do it.
Tweet Trips and tell him to tell Karrion Kross to unblock you.
Nah, I'm okay.
But yeah,
because that's definitely something that the chief content officer of the company should be telling his.
Hunter's sitting right now watching TV with Stephanie. And he's gonna be like, "Oh, sure, I'm gonna call Carrion CrossFit.
Carrion don't block him.
Carrion, Sky Radio.
Back in the live segments of Raw, we had the Hell in the Cell cage making its way down slowly to its.
Why wasn't it red?
Because not everything has to be red if it's hell.
Thank God.
But it has its own theme, you know, that blah, 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 blah thing that the cage music that it plays. And Adam Pearce with a bunch of probably doomed security personnel was in the ring, and he called out CM Punk, followed by Drew McIntyre, and they had their face-to-face ahead of their Hell in a Cell match this weekend. Gentlemen, what did you think of the back and forth between the two of them in this promo, the final promo between the two men before the match this weekend?
Go ahead, Caesar.
If you look at this picture, it looks like Drew and even Adam Pearce tower over all the security guards.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
So right there, it's like they're. Yeah, I no. I just want the match already. Give it to me. Saturday, show up, please. Let's let them slap the crap out of each other for like an hour or whatever it's gonna be, half an hour.
I was gonna say, you think CM Punk's gonna be in an hour-long match?
Braun Strowman or CM Punk? Who's gonna last longer in the match? Probably Punk.
I hope we never have to find out.
It'll be Punk. I'm pretty sure. But,
yeah.
No, just give us the match already. I'm done with the talking. Let them smack the crap out of each other. Give it to me as the opener on the freaking card on Saturday. I don't even care. Just give me the match.
So you're ready for violence, is what I'm hearing.
I just want to see someone get their head caved in and blood splatter everywhere. Just like there's too much talking.
Jesus.
Just get it over with. That's my opinion.
Lord.
Caesar, do you need to talk after the show, buddy? Like, are you?
I got a therapist.
Okay?
Yeah, I got a therapist. Don't worry.
Yeah, but they're calling you weird. Apparently, I don't.
No, I can make a joke right now, but I'll save it for after stream.
Fair enough.
I don't want to get canceled.
We don't want to get knocked off YouTube.
I don't want to get blocked by Trips yet.
Tyler, you clock that Roxanne name drop?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And which again is, you know, a nice little tie-in for the NXT debut on CW tomorrow night. But Dream made a couple.
CM Punk will be.
Yep, CM Punk will be there as the special guest referee for the main event that night. But I mean, look, it's Drew McIntyre, and you know, Caesar, like you said, it's been a lot of talking, but you know, you're going to get a good promo out of Drew and Punk, and it has been good.
No, I completely agree with that. The promos have been fire. I will agree with that. The way they've been pulling the crowd, pushing the crowd away, saying stuff, everything. It's been amazing. But I just want to see them go for it finally. That's all I'm saying. Like on a truthful note.
Do you think there will be blood here? Because you know they both mentioned blood multiple times. I think at one point CM Punk said something along the lines of he's going to wipe the blood from Drew's eyes, and Drew will realize he's not praying to God or the devil, but he's praying to CM Punk, which is a weird thing to say.
You know they're gonna do that spot with like where the opponent grabs his enemy, like
swear to me.
No, he's gonna get the blood like off of his opponent and whip it across his chest, and then like, you know, flex. Yeah.
Oh, that's cringe.
It's such a stereotype in blood-induced situations. So, yeah.
And even like the black and white parallel in their clothing. Like Drew McIntyre talked about why he was wearing black, and I'm like, bullshit. It's because Punk is wearing white, and they need that good guy, bad guy, absolute 100% visual confirmation.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the guy that represents virtue, and this guy's despicable and evil. Meanwhile, his boss is dressed
the virtuous
the same way.
Right? They looked like they bought it off the same rack. Like
they went shopping together.
like they were two backup singers for an R&B group or something. Like
that'd be interesting
like,
to see.
It's like, well, one of us has to go and change. You realize
And
that.
then you hear one of them say, "Unzip me."
Oh God.
how many tuxes and suits do you know that have zippers, Caesar?
It's 2024.
Well, suits have zippers.
Well, yeah, like not like in a okay.
Skip.
Skibbity. All right, guys.
No.
Yeah. So back. Well, actually, before we move on, anything else on the CM Punk Drew McIntyre segment?
Nope. Every guys think it's
Kind
results
of
in me
a-
needing a therapist, apparently.
Honestly, having the cell there didn't do anything for me as
Thank
far
you.
as building anticipation for this match. It felt like a waste of manpower to set it up and haul it when they
Right.
could have just saved themselves the time, effort, and money and just sent it to Georgia.
Yeah, but that would have
You
been
could already
smart,
be-
though. That would have
Yeah,
been
like,
smart.
Well, no, this wasn't. See what we don't understand, CJ, is this was a prop Hell in a Cell. It wasn't even real. It's made of paper mache.
Not even people mad shade.
Oh.
It was actually an AI background.
Oh, it wasn't
Is
even
that
real.
It wasn't even there.
That
It was
was
just a
CM
green
Punk.
screen.
Because Punk like started to climb the cage a little bit, or at least like hang off it. So I'm like, oh man, like the thought actually popped into my head. Good thing that's not paper mache. 'cause
Just that
I don't
one
think
part of the
it
cage he
would have
touched.
It's very
It's
good
real.
acting.
Held
Very good. What they can do with special effects live nowadays, just
Right? Security guards, people in the front row. Whew.
those weren't actually security guards. They were just goats wearing polo shirts. It's
Well,
amazing
great.
what to do with cameras. Yeah, it's amazing. Amazing.
I quit.
But back to the backstage. Kathy was interviewing Braun Strowman ahead of his match with Big Bronson Reed later tonight. He was approached shortly by Miz, and then even more shortly by R-Truth, and they were also talking about their match with AOP that they would be having later this evening, which we'll talk about here in a bit. And it ended up being pretty sad.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get there when we get there.
Truth and Miz standing there, and Truth goes, "See you, Andre," and I'm like, "Oh God, yeah, Truth's back."
Or when he's
Back from
like,
that vicious
"We got a
feud.
match with authors of pain tonight. What kind of books they wrote, or whatever he says, or something like that."
Our Truth is a national treasure. We've said that a lot.
I still can't believe he's in his 50s. Like, that's insane.
Man, he's aging very well.
He's aging backwards.
Like Benjamin Button. But that's going to take us. Let's see. I think that's one of the things where they started an entrance, and then they had Sami Zayn backstage, and Sami Zayn cut the Sami Zayn promo that Sami Zayn's cut for about the last 7 years.
Say Sami Zayn one more time.
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn.
I completely agree with you. That's why I'm making fun of
What's
it.
up, Elliot?
Oh.
Let's just go to the match.
Judgment
All right,
Day
yeah.
versus the LWO.
All right, and 6-man tag action here. The Judgment Day ends up picking up the victory here after a lying Finn Balor made his return. He didn't have travel issues. That was a lie. It's almost like the Judgment Day are like lying awful heels or something, right?
Right?
Something to that effect.
So,
Yeah.
why did they say something earlier where it sounded like Finn was talking like the plan to go or something like that? But like he made it sound like something big was coming, and it just turned out it was just Finn lied. Like I was so excited it was gonna be something bigger than that.
Well, that's big. Finn lying's big, right? All right, that's
It's bigger than him.
Well, and
disrespectful.
Someone's gotta be.
What did he say to Dom to tell Liv
Mhm.
during that segment by the car. Do you remember?
Nope.
Okay, because I don't either.
If you remember what he said, folks.
But I thought it was interesting because he didn't do it on camera at least. And then they just never addressed it. So I wasn't sure how to, like, if that was a cliffhanger or if just bad writing.
Both.
Yeah, little column A, little column B. But after the Judgment Day's victory, the Judgment Day cut a promo. This brought out Rhea Ripley. What'd she say in a very dramatic fashion? Can you bring down the shark cage? So they brought the shark cage too. They brought all the cages they could bring with them tonight.
They just brought everything from the warehouse.
Other than the SmackDown Fist, if they brought that thing, would be set.
Hey man, we'll have to wait and see what happens on Friday.
Right, you never know. Right on SmackDown.
SmackDown. Sultan.
But of course, and in this promo, as the picture revealed there, Damian Priest jumping the Judgment Day from behind, and this was a relatively long brawl, considering
over a commercial break.
But what'd you guys think of the 6-man tag and the segment that followed it here?
Well, it's a good match, but no stakes. Like, they didn't have any real reason to have this match. Yes, there was a reason, but we've seen Judgment Day versus LWO in some form or fashion through Dominic and Ray for entirely too long now. So this match and what was the other one? I can't remember. There was something else on this show that just made me feel like they needed to do something different instead of just doing the same thing over and over. Mm-hmm. But this match definitely, for sure. Like, it was a good match.
Yeah.
But I'm just sick of seeing it.
Well, I mean, it was kind of like when there were weeks on end where seemingly the main event every week was some iteration of the Judgment Day taking on some iteration of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was like a solid 6 or 7 weeks. Yeah, you don't want to fall into those traps. Well,
and even those, the segment after the commercial break, same thing. It was just a rehash. The segment is Judgment Day talks shit. Rhea Ripley or Damian Priest comes out, causes a distraction while the other one sneaks an attack. Either they win or they lose.
Right.
You know, it'd be great to have happen, and I'm not going to use the names of companies when I say this. Imagine if every week Raw had matches shuffled and not the same. This week we had these guys featured, and then next week it was a little bit of a different lineup, and then the week after that it was another set of people. Not like you guys are seeing the same 5-6 segments every week.
Well, with Raw moving to back to the 2-hour format starting next week, we're probably going to see some of that. They're going to have to. I mean, even for the NXT format, month or so ago, maybe a couple months now, but Shawn Michaels in the conference call talked about how the talent in NXT has to be and is understanding that they have a 2-hour program, and you have to rotate talent in and out of that.
See, here's the thing. You two are NXT pros here. I'm not. But from the viewer angle, there's episodes I've watched where I didn't know anybody was happening or what was going on, and I can stomach it. And I'll be like, oh shit, that match ended? And I'll be pissed because I'll be like, why did it end so quick? It was really good. So whatever Sean's doing on NXT, hopefully it will transfer over to Raw for the 2-hour setup going for the next 2 months or whatever it's going for.
I'm excited for 2-hour Raws. I will say that.
And hell, what if all of a sudden the viewership blows up with the 2-hour format? Will they stick to it?
If the ratings went up dramatically with the 2-hour format, that would be something. But
Let's do it. Let's boycott this shit.
Stop.
But I mean, what does it matter when they're moving to Netflix?
Exactly. Ratings
No.
are
We're staying
ratings are
in
becoming
Consequential.
more and more irrelevant with every passing year. Really.
And yeah, what was it that Disney launched their live channels, and it's basically just another version of cable, and it's like, this isn't even better. It's just, it's worse.
Yeah. But after that, we had a vignette with Sheamus challenging Pete Dunne to a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. So that'll happen.
What the hell does that even mean?
An old-fashioned Donnybrook?
They've had many a Donnybrook match on television.
No, I mean like to people who've never heard of it. I'm saying like, there's some people that have just seen Sheamus for the first time. They're like, "What in the world?" I'm just excited to see those two duke it out. That's all I'm getting at.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely be a fun match.
Especially because it'll give Pete Dunne some more attention because he's starting to pick up steam.
Speaking of Pete Dunne, I love how Sheamus just kept calling him Butch.
It's
like
really
not acknowledging him as anything but Butch.
I hope like during when he hits him and he does like the chest shots and the ring ropes, he says Butch at the same time, and so does the crowd.
Every time he swings.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will.
It's gonna be so if that happens, star of the week next week.
And then, threatens
10
to
beats of the
slap him.
Butch.
10 beats of the Butch. Oh, he's really beating around the Butch.
So you're telling me he's gonna get Butch slapped around the Butch?
Right. Oh my God. This is
why we're not writers.
They're going to bring in the Butch Whackers.
Listen. We don't need to be a bunch of Butches in here, okay?
Sorry, guys.
I'm done.
Butch, please.
I'm sorry. I started.
Yeet.
All right.
Holy shit.
So God, this is a hard transition to make from like saying something so goofy, but after that they did air a graphic about the passing of WWE Hall of Famer Pete Rose. Not baseball Hall of Famer Pete Rose, as they would not let him into the Hall of Fame because he bet on the Cincinnati Reds when he was one of the coaches there. It's not like he was betting against them and having them lose. He was betting that they would win. He was just confident in his team and very confident in that haircut. So rest well, Pete Rose.
WWE Hall of Fame.
Got tombstoned by Kane. He got tombstoned as oh God, what was that mascot he was at WrestleMania 15? Was
Goldie Gooker?
No, it was some chicken thing. You can tell I don't watch like legitimate sports, right?
Yeah.
Imagine.
But
that predetermined bullshit.
Right? Yeah, I don't understand, these predetermined sports, but
right.
But before our next match, we had a vignette with Damage Control Air, breaking down what their goals are and that they are looking to move back towards the tag team gold. Quick vignette, guys. Anything on that? Any thoughts or anything pop out on that for you?
I really wish that they and I'm not trying to be like one or the other, but I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this because I don't want to come off as racist. But when they are speaking in Japanese and they have English subtitles, but then they switch to English, and you can tell that English is not their first language.
Imagine.
It doesn't come across with the same confidence or strength when speaking in their native language.
So are you thinking just let them do the promo in Japanese and just go with the subtitles?
Yeah. I mean, if it works for them to do that in a pre-recorded format, and I mean, Tyler, even when Julia had it on NXT this past week, live subtitles, it wasn't too bad.
Mhm.
Well, didn't she have Funaki too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Number one announcer, Funaki.
Number one.
I'd rather just subtitle it. I think the promos come across much more genuine. We saw it with Shinsuke Nakamura. We've seen it with pretty much everyone in Damage Control. We've seen it with Julia. It works. It works really, really well. And from a production standpoint, go with it. Just keep going that direction. It's even reading the words and not understanding, Japanese, it still comes across much more genuine to me and much more just real because you can tell they're comfortable.
Yeah. I will say this as a person who's around multiple languages 90% of his week. I think it's cool because she's doing better. I've been hearing. That's all I've been hearing.
I don't think she's ready to come back yet, though.
Oh no, God no. No, I was gonna say when it comes to the whole language situation, I do agree with you guys about the Shinsuke thing. It felt like he got to spread his wings more with that one. I think what they're doing with the whole half and half, like with Io, Kairi, and of course now Julia, is they're trying to get the girls to develop their English. So they're letting them do half and half because they're probably thinking the girls can't do a full promo in English, but they don't want to cut them off and screw them out of TV time. So they're trying to give them a halfway point because I understand all of it. I don't know about you guys. I can understand all the English they're doing. But it feels like if they went full on with just all Japanese, it'd probably feel more of a heelish tactic. Versus if they went half and half, it feels like it's helping their English and also connecting with the fans, I guess you could say. So it's interesting. It's cool. Just gotta hold on.
They make it work. They make it work. But real quick, this came in on the chat. We haven't talked about this yet tonight. They did reveal this evening that over the weekend, Ilya Dragunov sustained an injury to his ACL. You guys remember what the time frame was roughly on that?
9 months.
Fuck.
Regardless what the timeline
well, Hunter,
was,
that's my feelings on a Hunter is an angry shout of fuck.
Okay,
it's
so
horrible.
Let's think this though. 6 to 9 months. Let's say we are being at the end of September. So let's say from October, November, December, January, February is 5 months. We know that the Royal Rumble is February 1. So conservatively, 4 months would probably be unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say 2 more months. We know WrestleMania is mid-April.
Yeah.
6 months would still put him before WrestleMania. But without enough time to really build to anything worth putting on the show, he probably wouldn't get used. But maybe night after WrestleMania at the earliest.
I do agree with you about the whole build thing, because what they could do is one of two things. The night after WrestleMania, that's one, or Royal Rumble, because then he's just getting checked if he's good to go. If he does the Rumble and he's fine, then they can look at things afterward. If not, then night after WrestleMania. So there's, dare we say, 2 safe spots they can put him in?
It does dropping back into the mix around that time. I mean, if it's a situation of it's not as bad as they're behaving as it is, and there is a possibility that he could come back for the Rumble, that'd be something. But I don't know. There's never a good time to get hurt. Like, you never. But like, this is definitely a bad time, though. You know, you're starting to lean into that. You know, mid-fall pre-Rumble season. It's very sad. It's very disappointing. I was shocked and saddened to hear that when they announced that this evening.
Yeah, well, bruh.
That being said, though, like, when was the last time he was on TV?
2 weeks ago? No. Last week in a backstage segment, wasn't it?
I think he was in a backstage segment last week. He wrestled a couple weeks ago.
No, it was
I remember because Joe Tessitore, I think he didn't realize that Ilya Dragunov's finisher was his finisher. If I'm remembering that right.
Maybe. I just remember hearing that segment backstage where Finn was like telling them, pick your friends wisely.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So hopefully, obviously, we wish him a speedy recovery because Ilya Dragunov's a really, really good talent. Hate to see him be down for any time. All right, but that is going to take us into our next match on the card. We had Chad Gable with American Made taking on Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods. And Chad Gable ends up getting the win here. Do I have the match time on the wrong page? I don't have a match time on that. I don't know why I don't have a match time on that. But Chad Gable does get the win here after a little bit of a misfire from old Xavier Woods there.
And this is what I love about this turn. Like, it felt genuine. Like a genuine miscommunication between Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Like, he wanted to help out, but Kofi had it under control, and that distraction led to Chad Gable being able to pick up the win.
Gable is able.
And
I didn't even see when Gable got busted.
None of us did.
I'm not certain where that happened. Like I think it was Johnson in the group chat. Like I felt the same way, but he's like, I turned away for half a second. Chad Gable's bleeding.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure where that happened.
None of us are. So I'm not really commenting, and I'm just like, okay, it happened.
I do like that. Like after the match, like American Made was behaving as though Chad Gable just won the world championship.
That's their thing, I guess.
Well, yeah, because when was the last time they got
Damn, CJ just going for the jugular.
Man, just throwing.
That's what I always mean.
Bad shade.
Oh, hey, I'm all on board with American Made. Like the heel work is top notch.
Agreed. Good fit.
Very, very happy with this alignment with Chad Gable.
With that, moving on from there, they had Wade and Joe through to a quick little clip montage of Drew McIntyre and Liv Morgan at a couple different college football games over the weekend. So, hey, wrestlers go to real sports things too, I guess, guys. Sheamus was, went to the Notre Dame game. Makes sense. Fighting Irish, it all ties in, guys.
Indianapolis was Drew McIntyre and Liv Morgan, two heels who got the crowd roaring and cheering like crazy.
Was that the when Drew tweeted where he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna send him to Indy to promote the Rumble. Should we put him on the poster?" Nah.
All right. I mean, that's.
I feel like they did that on purpose just so the tweet would happen. Like it's just they're giving him these opportunities to heal it up,
Well, and like the fact that they put CM Punk on the poster, not so much that they left him off, like that should piss him off even more that they chose to put him on.
Right. Good times. Oh man. Yeah, so, again, just they like to establish that wrestlers are part of the mainstream world. Okay. Back to the backstage. Bronson Reed was being interviewed ahead of his match, which we discussed at the top of the show. But he was asked by Jackie if Seth Rollins, if a potential Seth Rollins, which is weird. I kind of wish they hadn't brought this up here because I'm going to be honest, like, other than them showing Seth at whatever football game he was at, I hadn't really been thinking about Seth Rollins. And do you feel like mentioning him here in this segment kind of, was unnecessary?
Tyler, the stupidest fucking thing just popped into my
Uh-oh.
head, and I know you're gonna
Uh-oh.
appreciate it. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Seth Rollins.
Not the same ring to it.
It works. It works. Oh my god.
But it's because it works that I knew I had to share it as soon as it popped into my head.
Oh,
I hope he shows up at the Royal Rumble.
oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be so great.
Oh, how
That
great
pop
would that be?
would be mental.
That would be.
You know how they'd have to do it,
100%.
right? Pitch black. Good, like 10 to 20 second hang, and then the music goes.
What?
Why?
No.
It built.
What do you mean, why? Why do you need 20 seconds of
Do you know
silence?
how long 20 seconds is of silence? I'm
No,
not going
I'm
to
not
put you
saying-
through that right now,
Okay.
but it's a long time.
The point I'm making is,
You
hang.
know when they count from 10 to 0 at the Royal Rumble? Imagine that times 2.
Quiet.
Put your TV on mute for 2 of those.
That's easy.
And tell me you don't want to fucking throw
Don't worry.
a mug through
I
your
had to sit through a
television.
video of all the women's entrants from the Royal Rumble, and I couldn't tell anyone's themes apart. So if I can do that, I think I could do that too. Yeah. But the point is, though, it's still the same. Royal Rumble.
But grief. Back to our next segment. We had our weekly spooky Wyatt 6 VHS segment. Spooky rhetoric, creepy messages is what we're doing with them. Hey, I'll ask you guys this real quick. It's been a couple months now. Where are you at on the Wyatt 6 now? From the debut to this point, how are you feeling about it? Like, where do you think they're, kind of going to end up being positioned on the card? Like, how are you feeling about the Wyatt 6 currently?
This is treading on territory where I feared it was headed, where they are less about Bray Wyatt and more about, oh, we're here and we're spooky. Like, I hope that they're still able to pay it off where it means the most, but without that connection, it just doesn't feel right. It felt okay in the early days, and even after it was adding the rest of the 6 together, like it still felt okay, but this doesn't feel it.
Yeah. Caesar?
I don't know where I sit with this one. Like, I'm intrigued, but it seems like the flame has died down a little bit. So I'm not saying I'm done with it. I'm just confused.
Fair enough.
Maybe is it too slow of a burn, we'll say, almost?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's cooking up to something good soon.
Yeah, we can, again, I was trying to give them a little extra time than I used to, a little more benefit of the doubt. So we'll see where it goes to.
Maybe
But up next, we had the current world champion and ring general, Gunther, made his entrance. I believe this is when they discussed Ilya Dragunov having the tear to the ACL. But Gunther made his way down to the ring, and in short order, was interrupted by one Sami Zayn. And again, came up that he was, wanting that title match. And, Gunther just, denying him. But hey, after he beat the hell out of Sami this time, he decided to give Sami that title match. Guys, what did you think of the segment here and the match that Sami will be getting now?
Well, I am very excited for Sami versus Gunther 2, that first match at WrestleMania was awesome. So this the segment itself was great, but I was kind of hoping that it would be at Bad Blood as opposed to next Monday. Like, I get why, because they don't want to have an overstacked card. So the fact that they're doing this next Monday probably makes the title look better in comparison to the rest of the card. But I'm still excited for this match. I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I know that I really don't think Gunther is going to lose, but I just don't know how he's going to retain.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think, God, no, there's no way Gunther loses this match. But
But poking the bear in the way that Sammy did tonight was like just top-notch stuff. Like, both of these guys were on their game tonight. So my cap is tipped to Sami Zayn and Gunther.
Oh yeah. Great promo work there. And again, like, I kind of chived Sammy a little bit earlier for his backstage promo, saying that's the same promo he's cut for like the last 7 years. But it's a good promo. He's good at what he does, But all right, well, that's going to take us into our next match that we'll be discussing this evening. We had AOP taking on Awesome Truth, and this match only went about 3 minutes, guys. It only went about 3 minutes because the Miz kicked Ron Killings in the face and walked away. So is the Miz just going heel? Is he tired of like R-Truth getting him into all of these situations? Is he walking away from R-Truth and being heel? Or is Miz aligning himself with Karrion Kross?
Don't even speak that last one into existence. The first thing that I thought when I saw Miz turning on Truth and walking away, I'm like, he wasn't that good a hype man for Truth anyway. But as far as aligning with Karrion Kross, I'm like, anything Karrion Kross has a hand in makes me regret signing up to do this show. So hopefully,
thanks, DJ.
That's not the case with the Miz. Hopefully, it is just a case of, yeah, you keep getting me into matches like this that I'd rather not be getting into. So you need to stop, but you won't.
Yeah, I fully agree with CJ. Like, I don't think he wants to align himself with that guy. I was gonna say the name, but his face looks like
Jesse Ventura.
I don't think he wants to align with him. I just don't think he wants to deal with Truth's shit. Because I feel like every time Miz has got a match from Truth, it's just out of the freaking blue, and Miz is like, dude, that's stupid. I'm done with this. That's just how I see it. I agree with you.
It is sad though, we don't like to see bad things happen to R-Truth. So I'm sure we'll have an R-Truth Miz match coming up here, probably really soon. Maybe
it's gonna happen next week, right? They're gonna be like, Miz is gonna come out and explain his actions as to why he brutalized R-Truth on Raw.
Miz addresses his enemy.
Oh, hey, I mean, Miz TV in Chicago.
Oh yeah, okay. Good opportunity. Hey, maybe we'll get a R-Truth appearance on NXT tomorrow night as well.
Maybe
we'll see. That would that would not upset me at all if that were to happen. Yeah. Miz is pretty much always going to be a snake. Always.
Technically, Shane McMahon turned on him.
There's one, so he's got one. Everybody's always got one, right? Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Gosh, let's see. That was the sadness that was that match. So after that, they had a backstage segment with Gunther being interviewed, and this was when they had Gunther get bumped into by Braun Breaker backstage.
I'm all for it.
He said he was a badass, and Breaker said that he'd be, finding that out himself sooner than he thinks. What do you guys make of this here? We've talked about the potential of a Braun Breaker Gunther match or a full-fledged program in the past. When do you think we maybe start to see that take off?
After Bad Blood.
Hopefully not for the rest of 2020.
No? Okay.
Reason for that is because Gunther's reign is too new.
Okay.
And the story that he's telling with Sami Zayn right now, I think they're just wanting to plant the seeds for Breaker versus Gunther. But I think there needs to be more for this new face version of Braun Breaker to do before he gets to Gunther. And this point from Zach was what I was going to mention too, like Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods arguing in the background. And there were points in this promo where if nobody was talking, you could hear them arguing.
Yeah, I see that.
Like, I couldn't make out what they were saying, but, like, that's how loud they were going at it, that they can still be heard on a microphone, like, 30 feet away.
So what I'm hearing from CJ, it seems like, is that we should tease the idea of the feud, but bank it for now until, like, 3 months down the road kind of thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I can agree with that one, yeah. I mean, the tease was... I mean, they could tease it here and there, but I actually kind of agree with you. Don't go full send, full tilt with it until later on.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my prediction. And yes, this is entirely spur of the moment.
Dirt sheet
and yes, it is kind of formulating in my brain as I think of it.
That's Molly.
Now. But here we are heading into October. We have exactly 4 months until the Royal Rumble. If a face Braun Breaker goes on an absolute tear over the next 4 months, he's my pick to win the Rumble.
Okay, that's a pretty big one. I can see it.
And challenges Gunther at WrestleMania.
I can get behind that.
No,
Absolutely.
Imagine that.
I'm waiting for something bad to come out. So far, everything I've heard is solid. That'd be something.
What do you mean?
I mean, like,
bad?
everything you've said so far has been like money. So I'm just like, that's all good. I'm 100% with you on that one.
All right. Cool.
Like, that'd be like what? How long will that be now when it gets to WrestleMania for Gunther's reign? 6 months? 7 months? Yeah.
He won it at SummerSlam. So August.
Like,
no.
10?
8, 9.
No, not 10.
8, 9, something like that.
Either way, CJ's point is pretty much like the most valid one. Let Braun be a monster.
That's the theme of the night.
Let Breaker.
Let's
clarify. Let Breaker. To clarify to the viewers, let Breaker be a monster until Mania. Not the other Brauns.
Monster face.
Monster baby face. But all right, well, gentlemen, that takes us up to the main event that we discussed at the top of the show. Anything else on Raw that we haven't touched on that you would like to, or is that pretty much everything in a nutshell?
Who the hell is this PFR? Like the burning logo with the symbols that look like.
I've heard a rumor.
The Viking? Is it not the Viking Raiders?
I thought it might be, but I have no idea.
The one thing I heard is connected to them, and it's apparently they might be going through another name change.
Well, because who we haven't had an update on either Eric or Ivar in quite a while. Like, as far as I knew, Ivar was out indefinitely, wasn't he?
Not that I was aware of.
That's the, after. Gosh, it was the.
Because it was heading into that triple threat match with Wes Lee and Josh Briggs. That, and then they got attacked backstage by Gallus.
Right. Yeah. So at that point they did say indefinitely. So I mean, them not talking about either of them in quite some time could, be a slight indication that it's them. But I've assumed it's them just because like it's all Rooney and Viking-y looking.
And like John said last week,
well, and that's kind of what I was thinking.
If you actually translate the letters from ruins to letters, it spells out raw or war.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Okay. All right.
So that's everything, right? First of all.
Yeah, that takes us back up to the main event.
So I have an honest question for you guys and the viewers. Did that not seem like a go-home show? But did it not seem like one?
Oh, you're saying it didn't seem like one?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean,
like,
it
was good, but like,
I definitely say the McIntyre and Punk promo was without question, go homey. I'd say
very much.
The Judgment Day, like the Rhea Ripley, Dom, Liv, Shark Cage bit, that was the culmination on that. But I mean, some of the stuff is more SmackDown related, like the tag match with the Bloodline, like that's going to get its final hype Friday night, and same thing with. Oh
my god! Wait! Throw that graphic back up. The tag team one. Tag champs got side plates. America side plates in the graphics.
I actually forgot they were the champs.
Rude.
How could you forget that Tama Tonga and the infamous Tonga Loa were WWE Tag Team Champions?
Nah, I'll pay attention to SmackDown.
Oh, that's rude, man. This is rude. There's such stellar coverage from Dirt Sheet Radio that you could watch.
I watch Dirt Sheet Radio follow with the SmackDown. Sorry, Smack Sound.
Smack Sound. But all right, gentlemen, before we hop into the jobbers and megastars of the night, a couple of quick bookkeeping things. Sometimes people get stressed.
Why? What could they do?
They could use some diffusible aromatherapy.
Do we have a link for that?
We sure do. If you head over to monk.com and use promo code DSR10, you can save 10% off your order at monk.com. Relax yourself. Relax. Treat yourself, guys. And hey, if you like the dulcet tones of Dirt Sheet Radio voices, but don't necessarily want to watch live videos, you can check out Dirt Sheet Radio podcast over on. I hit the wrong button. Well, it's time about major issues. Major issues every Thursday, which is also part of the Dirt Sheet Radio family here. Powered by Comic Book Click. It is almost 1:00 in the morning here. Okay,
that's tomorrow.
All right, it is October 1st where I'm at right now.
How is the future,
tired, guys? It's pretty good so far. It's pretty good. In the future we have different flavors of Mountain Dew. It's wild.
What is Mountain Dew?
What is Mountain Dew? It's not a Mountain Don't. I'll tell you that. But major issues every Thursday.
Can we just slog through this,
Delphin
please?
Pod. For all of your wonderful podcast needs, go check it out. And again, as always, comicbookclick.com/Dirt Sheet Radio, live updates, everything you need, and more. But guys, that is going to take us into the jobber of the night for Monday Night Raw, September the 30th, 2021. the 24. Gentlemen, who do you have as your jobber of the night? Caesar, who do you got?
Lyra Valkyria.
Wow.
For a reason, an obvious reason. And that is because she's with those two too often. That's the actual reason. If I'm being completely blunt and honest on that one. Not because of her in-ring ability, not because of how she's been in the past, just because, like, I think it was Mac that said it earlier, she should be treated like Goldberg status, but in the women's division. So, that's my jobber.
That's fair. That's fair.
Hey, I learned all my stuff about Lyra Valkyria from those guys over at the NXT RAW or NXT podcast review from Dirt Sheet Radio. Live every Tuesday.
We try to teach you well. CJ, my other good Canadian sir, who do you have as your jobber of the night this evening?
Yeah, buddy.
Well, and not for the same reason, but I also have to give it to Lyra Valkyria. I mentioned earlier just how she kind of had this fall from grace after the Queen of the Ring tournament, and I don't understand why she's been relegated to these tag teams and 6-woman tags and just something that not necessarily beneath her, but they should have something more for her. And this isn't it. So that's why she's my jobber of the night.
Fair and valid reasons there. And I hope they do find something a little better for her. I'm going to take it in a little less serious of a direction here, I guess, with my jobber of the night. Because my jobber of the night is Jey Uso's hair. So again, I'm just bringing out the point that he's got a few days before the pay-per-view to get that taken care of.
He won't.
So I hope he does. So I'm sorry, Jay, but yeet your barber, sir. Yeet your barber.
I actually forgotten about
the
that.
barber.
And then you reminded me of that connection. How dare you? It was bad enough the first time. It was worse the second
Everybody's
time.
gonna go home and watch Scream 3 tonight.
You upset CJ.
I'm sorry, CJ. I'm sorry.
CJ's heel turn coming.
No, we don't want a CJ heel turn. That's awful. No, that'd be so devastating.
I just grew the beard back. You don't want me to drop the goatee. The goatee's the heel.
His heel turn is goatee and an amazing pile of suits he wears every stream. That's his heel turn.
That's it. Oh my god. Well, not making a heel turn tonight is the Dirt Sheet Radio Raw Post Show Rewind Mega Star of the Night.
Yes.
Who would like to take point on this one?
Isn't it last one goes first though?
Oh, fine, it'll be me then. So, in my jobber slot was Jey Uso's hair, but in my Megastar Night slot tonight is Jey Uso himself. I'm gonna, I'll pick on his hair all I want, but the fact of the matter is, the man is ridiculously over. He is hitting new heights for his career week after week right now, and I think that this IC title run's going to be good for him, and I look forward to it. So good on you. Congratulations again, Jey Uso, on finally getting that first solo title. Yeet! But again, it's the bangs, brother. The bangs. It's not good. It's not good.
CJ.
I think my shoot, I had it and then I got looking at a different part of my notes and I lost it. Oh, yes, I know. My megastar of the night is Xavier Woods. The story that he is telling with this heel turn right now is absolutely fantastic. I am here for every single second of it, no matter what way it goes. Obviously, I would love for the New Day to stay together, but even if they do split, like, it almost feels like they're trying to establish himself or establish Xavier as a credible single star. Whether that means they're going to split up the New Day or not remains to be seen. Mac, I have no idea, but
I don't know.
I mean, the light is at the end of the tunnel. We're almost there. But yeah, like they're doing well by him right now. So I would say he's my megastar of the night.
Right on.
All right. I'm going to bring up the rear on this one because I'm the last member of the team for this one. So I'm going to give a huge honorable shout out to the boys in the main event for, well, bringing down the house, literally.
Oh yeah,
literally, figuratively. I heard they're still in the ring right now with all the dead bodies. It's like,
jeez.
I mean, nah, it was a good match. Braun did that.
Yeah, that's a live shot. Like that's not.
Sorry, I'm not the cat out of the bag, but there's still people. Like Braun hasn't moved since the end of the match, and Braun hasn't left the ring yet. Anyways, no, a big honorable mention to both those guys for that match. It was brutal. It destroyed the ring, ended a few families, crushed a few security guards. So kudos to those guys. But if I'm giving the actual, real pick for my guy, I'm gonna go with Braun freaking Breaker. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen. I don't want to know, but I want to see where it goes as the weeks go by. Like that part right there, I was very thinking he was gonna turn around and clock him with the mic or like do something, and he stuck to it, and the dogs went off like crazy. And then like this one, you forward to that, and that moment you could feel it in the air. That when those two go, it's gonna be like Braun and Braun. It's gonna bring some walls down and shit's gonna go down. So I'm excited. I'm curious, but I don't want to know until it happens. Right on. So that's my megastar.
Right on. Fantastic choices, gentlemen. Fantastic choices. Now, before we hop out of here, I want to inform everyone watching live. First of all, thank you, actually. Thank you all for watching us live. We have a great number of viewers live tonight, and everyone that watches us on In Demand. We appreciate the hell out of you. But I've got great news. If you've enjoyed what we've done here this evening, I have wonderful news. Dirt Sheet Radio just doesn't cover Monday Night Raw. We're here all the time. Professional wrestling never stops, so Dirt Sheet Radio is always on. Obviously, y'all, we are here Monday nights to cover Raw for you. Yeet indeed. We'll be here Tuesday nights for NXT. Wednesday nights, you know what that means. It's AEW Dynamite. On Thursdays, we got the what I like to think of as the NXT sibling podcast, the TNA Impact Show, and of course, Fridays are for SmackDown every single Friday. And guys, if you're up late on Wednesdays, after the AEW Rewind, there is the DSR flagship podcast late into the night. But if you're like me and have to be up early most of the time, just check it out Thursday mornings when
on your drive to work.
On your drive to work,
or at work.
Yeah, or you know, I was gonna say when you're driving the kids to school, but maybe not that. That might not be.
Just pop in an earbud, and then they're yelling at you.
It's not safe to drive with earbuds. Then
I mean, you're like getting out of the vehicle, pop an earbud and listen.
Give the kid an iPad with headphones and just have.
On Sundays, we've got the guys over at 3NT every single Sunday, kicking it live and talking pro wrestling, and it is the most crisp graphic in all of the IWC.
We need one of those.
And I've got a new graphic coming, so I'm still going to show the old one, CJ. It's not the Level Up Adventure anymore, guys. It is CJ and Tyler's Weekend Wrestling Roundup, and that is Roundup.
That's such a pile of words.
Yeah, well, it sounds good. Alliteration's fun.
Well, it does. It does. Right? But I'm just saying, when you first hear it, you're like, what?
But we will be coming back very soon with a new format that is built much more around current events in pro wrestling in general.
Do we know when the debut is, though?
What?
Do we know when the debut episode is? Have we decided
yet?
We're
hoping to be on Sunday. Sunday. Life be life, and sometimes the last couple of weeks have been kind of difficult to get back on there. But yeah, so looking forward to that.
Let's wrap this shit up.
Hey, Caesar, before we go, tell the people where they can find you, where they will see you next, and where you reside. on the internet, not in real life.
I love how you had to clarify that one. But as always, guys, I'm sitting down with these two gentlemen, and as always, whenever he is available, Mr. John Escudero as well, sitting down talking, and with Molly, of course, on the Monday Night Review with the Raw boys. And then, of course, on the AEW Dynamite episode with Neek, Robbie, and whoever else comes through the front door. And I hope to see you guys next week, sitting down with us, discussing next week's Raw, the first 2 hour of the new era, for the short little era, if you don't call it. Lots of awesome matches, but I'm going to say, CJ, take it away.
Yeah, I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays. I try to be here whenever I can on Mondays. I won't be here next week, but I will be here the following Monday. So October 14th, I guess it is, I will make my grand return. And otherwise, yeah, looking forward to starting CJ and Tyler's Weekend Wrestling Roundup, hopefully this Sunday as well.
Right on, hell yeah. It's with a W. That's what I'm key. With a W.
We're doing hearts.
Heart. But yeah, looking forward to it. I am, as always, Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster. You can find me over on the Book of Face at the Pro Wrestling Hipster. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. It's at PW Hipster, but I don't do a lot on those things. Instagram's my spooky place. So that's, if you like seeing horror movie stuff, that's, check me out there. But and obviously I'm here at Monday nights knocking down Raw every single week with these fine gentlemen. And Tuesday nights, busting down NXT. PLE is where I can make it in there. And like CJ said, we're hoping to have the official relaunch of the show this coming Sunday. But guys, thank you again so much for tuning in live. We appreciate you. We will be back live tomorrow night to cover the NXT debut on the CW Network. It's going to be awesome, guys. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Yeet.